Okay, going live. Here you go. Look, I'm going to do something strange. Should have done this just before I went live, but gonna move those lights over there, and I think that will do better lighting. Yes, I think it will. I think that's better. Okay, so here we are live. In most of Australia, it's the Queen's birthday long weekend. Sunday night here, and where I am, it's a public holiday, but because of some weird shenanigans with work, I actually have to go into work tomorrow. Well, at least I'll get paid, because as a contractor, I don't get paid. So the fact I'm going in on a public holiday means I get paid. Hi there, Aussie Brick Chick. So yeah, swings and roundabouts. I don't get the extra day off that everyone else gets, but I get paid where I otherwise wouldn't. Just how it works, I guess. So I'm getting the red thing there saying very bad connection. So I'm not 100% sure how well this is going. I'm never sure. The little display on my phone tells me it's having problems, but often the people watching say, no, it's fine, like with some dropouts, but it's basically fine. Peter, I mixed myself a drink there. I was thinking about what to call it. You see, it probably just looks dirty on there. It's got a slight purple colour. The flavours in there, there's some vodka. I infused some grape flavoured lollies in, which is where the purple comes from. It's not really a grape flavour when it's a lolly, it's mostly sugar, but it's purple. And some elderflower liqueur and some lemonade and some sort of pineapple coconut fruit juice. So it's a very tropical, fruity sort of thing. I was thinking of calling it a tropical storm. So it's very fruit and flower flavours in there. Fruit and flower? Did I say that right? Fruit and flower? No, I'm not drunk yet. I've only had a couple of mouthfuls. It's like weather people trying to say frosts and fogs. I feel like it must be really hard not to accidentally slip and say fosts and frogs. But no, it's a tropical drink that I'm calling a tropical storm. The alcohol parts of it are vodka and elderflower. So Peter gets a tropical storm to destroy Queenslanders. A couple of these would destroy pretty much anyone. I'm only going to have one, but that sort of thing will sneak up on you because it basically has a fruity sort of lolly taste. But it's got alcohol in it, and it could sneak up on you if you weren't careful. Definitely. That's right, Aussie Brick Chick. It's not a long weekend in Queensland. I think that is the only part of Australia where it's not a long weekend. And incidentally, that's why I have to go into work tomorrow for a call centre, which is still in operation because it's a national call centre and it's not a holiday in Queensland. And I work on the IT side, and there's an IT change gone in this weekend. So I am kind of stuck going in making sure the IT change didn't blow anything up. It's like a PR exercise we do, like, hey, we just changed something in your core system. Just thought we'd drop by and see if we broke anything. Did we break anything? Trying to stay on the good thing. Well, Aussie Brick Chick, it is all about Queensland, why I'm going to work. Look, Luke Eberhardt, yes, that's a Tinder match, really. I mean, they're the star-crossed lovers. This is a shirt from a website called T-Fury. And there's lots of sites like T-Fury. They have a t-shirt of the day or 2 t-shirts of the day, and it changes every day. And the common theme, and it's a very consistent thing on T-Fury, is the image is a mashup of 2 things. Usually 2 pop culture images, but in this case it's pop culture and Mexican culture, because it's Jack Skellington and love of his life done up with the Mexican Day of the Dead paint on their face, which is, of course, very appropriate for Jack Skellington being a skeleton and all. So yeah, there's usually a mashup of two things, and I have a lot of Doctor Who shirts from them, and every now and then they do, because they change t-shirts every day. They make, they print a certain run, they sell as many as they sell or whatever, and they end up with spares. Every now and then they do what they call a grab bag, where it's like, okay, we've got all these shirts in our warehouse, we'll sell them for really cheap, but you're buying them randomly. It's like a lucky dip at the school fete, and you don't know what you're going to get. And normally the grab bag price is like $6 US a shirt, and that's pretty good value. Even with the exchange rate and postage, they usually end up being, counting the postage, about $10 Australian t-shirt, and they're really quite good quality. I mean, I've had them that lasted for years. This one I've got just in the last year, because I got into a few more grab bags. Just recently they had one where the t-shirts were only $3. So even with the exchange rate and postage, they're only coming in at like $5 or $6. Ooh, Emmett from Lego Movie and Owen from Jurassic World. That's a good mix. I've got a bunch of Doctor Who shirts. What did I get in the last grab bag? I got an IT Crowd one that's done up, it's like needlepoint, like, ugly Christmas sweater style, and it's got imagery from the IT Crowd. Hey, Celtic King. Like that 8-bit style animation they have at the start of the IT Crowd, which really lends itself to cross stitch or crocheting. So it's basically that and some lines and images from the IT Crowd. There was that one. I got one that I think is actually about Ghost in the Machine. Aussie Brooks, you should blaming me for T Fury. Yeah, look, I know who my enabler is too. I was going to say English, but he's from the UK. Scottish YouTuber Liam Smith, Liam Dryden, I mean. He first, I knew him through YouTube, and he showed off this shirt. It was a really good one, a Doctor Who one. So I got it as well, and from that point on, I was hooked. I've had, oh my god, how many T Furies? Like about 30 T Fury shirts over the last 5 years. Because I've got like 9 new ones in the last year, I'll be retiring some of the old ones. They are starting to look a bit worn, because I've had them for years, and I've got a whole bunch of new ones I got to wear, so make room in the wardrobe for the new ones. Yeah, I got a really cool Star Wars one. It's got the red lightsaber, Kylo Ren, the jaggedy red lightsaber with a cross on it, and one half on one side of the lightsaber is Kylo Ren's mask, and the other half is the burnt out Darth Vader mask. Really good for a Star Wars nerd like me. That was a good score from a lucky dip. But they tend to just be beautiful designs. Like, even if you're not particularly into the pop culture thing that's on the shirt, the designs tend to be really good, so I always quite like them. Oh, right. Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft in Pulp Fiction style. There are a few variants on that. I don't know what the first one is, but the first one I saw is one I have. It's a Doctor Who one. It's the Dave Tennant and Matt Smith, Doctor Who's holding their Sonics out, a la Pulp Fiction. Yes, good point, Aussie Brick Chick. I will point out this live stream is not actually sponsored by T Fury. I pay for anything I get from T Fury. Just a fun topic of conversation. And I tell you what, my Doctor Who one, my Doctor Who Pulp Fiction one, I wear that when I'm going places where I'm not going to know people, because I call it my conversation starter. Whenever I've worn that shirt, it started conversations. Like people go, oh, I love Doctor Who, that's such a cool design, that's awesome. So it's my make friends shirt, because I'm not particularly good at starting conversations with people I don't know. So I have a t-shirt to do it for me. It works quite well. So might even work with one of my 10 other Doctor Who t-shirts as well. But that one, that's my favourite one. Yeah, it's definitely the Make New Friends shirt. And yeah, I mean, there are a few variants on that. I've seen the Dixon brothers from The Walking Dead on it. And I think there are a couple of others, but yeah, I think actually the same artist has done a lot of things the same style. Yeah, hey, why not? You hit on a design that people like, milk it for all it's worth. It's, you know, it's hard enough to get people's attention with these things. So I certainly don't hold it against a designer who comes up with a winning idea and just runs with it and does variants and milks it. Gotta do what you gotta do to make ends meet in this big bad world. Video dude, do I have any suggestions for new YouTubers who have no video ideas? Good question. I'll just say hello to Ruki-san. But yes, okay. I am an admin on some Facebook groups for YouTube community groups. There's one that's Melbourne based and one that's an Australia-wide one. And it is the most common question people ask. Like, we use it as a forum, tell people go, what should I do as a video? In the best of all worlds, you will make videos on a topic that you are passionate about. Because no matter how niche you think your passion or hobby or favorite thing is, it's a great big wide world and lots of people are on the internet and nobody's alone. If you make videos on topics that you care about, that you're passionate about, that's going to help you make good videos because you care about what you're doing. And there are other people who will want that. And then you need to find those people, like search online, find forums where people who are into the same thing you're into spend time and share with them. Say, hey, look, I'm making videos on this topic. And if you have trouble even in that thing, I'm not sure. Literally, look at people who you like. If you're looking at the YouTube world and thinking, I want to make videos, you must be watching someone that you like. You must be watching someone and going, oh, well, I like that, I want to do that. Literally do that. Like, find a video maker, a creator that you like, and try and, like, the classic is do response videos. Just go like, hey, big YouTuber 123, I see you're talking about this topic. This is also a topic that I'm into. Here's my take on this topic. Or even just talk about their videos and why you like their videos, because they have fans and you can bond with people that way. And man, I would even go so far as to, virtually copy people that you like do your version of what they do, like not totally rip off their whole style and vibe and everything, but literally do your version of what they do. And the more you do that, the more confidence you're going to gain, the more likely you are to find your own voice. Big Bad Ads, you just asked me about the long weekend. I was talking about that a little while ago. It's a complex answer. Here in Victoria, it is indeed a long weekend, but because of the nature of my work, I am actually going into work for at least a while tomorrow. So I don't get the long weekend. But I thought I was going to do a Rick and Morty burp in mid-sentence there, but it didn't come out. There's pluses and negatives. Negatives, I don't get to sleep in tomorrow. I've got to drive to Geelong, in fact. Pluses, I get paid. Because I'm a contractor, I don't get paid if I'm not at work. So you'll tend to find if you work around contractors, they're less enthusiastic about public holidays than people with full-time jobs are, because you don't get paid. So I will go in and get paid. Otherwise, I wasn't going to get paid for tomorrow. So, as much as the idea of sleeping in again tomorrow, maybe getting really hammered rather than just having one drink tonight, I'll live with that, and I'll get paid. And that's not a bad thing, especially when you're in my position and you're still trying to pay off massive credit card bills you ran up a few years ago. Aruka said, no, I won't really get penalty rates. I'm not going to push it, because I'm a contractor. I get contract rates. I think if I pushed and made a scene about penalty rates, then they wouldn't want to. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not going to work a full day tomorrow. I'm going to get paid for a full day. I'm not going to work a full day tomorrow. Largely because I count the travel time as part of my work day, because I did not sign up to work in Geelong. I'm doing that as a favour. So the travel there and back is like 3 hours. So I'm taking 3 hours out of the day while still getting paid for that. So it's close to penalty rates, because I'm not going to work my 7.5 hours. So what freaking hell, Rukasan, the time that the trip takes, it's almost like going to Newcastle if you work in Sydney. It's an hour and a bit away. I'm like rounding it out to an hour and a half. So it's an hour and a half to get to Geelong, hour to an hour and a half, and the same back. So actually it might be better tomorrow because it's a public holiday. Maybe the roads are gonna be empty, although I will be coming back early because there could be people who are away up the Great Ocean Road for the weekend be coming back in the afternoon. I don't want to get caught in that, so I'll be leaving a little bit early in the hope I don't get stuck in any traffic. That would suck if I get stuck in traffic for a couple of hours. I really won't be pleased with that. Won't know until I get there. It's that type of thing. Peter Thrupp. I have been watching the UK elections with quite some enjoyment. Theresa May, she's so like, hey, I'm forming a government. I am still going to be Prime Minister. And she basically lost all her credibility and all her authority in that election. It was a very unusual result for those who don't follow such things, or those who perhaps don't know how the British political system works, like a Westminster style election. To rule confidently, your party needs to have more than half the seats in the parliament. And prior to this election, Theresa May's party had more than half the seats, but she had this idea that all the opinion polls were in their favour. If she called a snap election years early, she'd get an increased majority. It would make it clear that she had authority, and she could pursue all her policies with that mandate. Didn't work out that way. They lost a bunch of seats. They no longer have a majority. They're the biggest single party in the parliament. But they now need to rely on other people to support them as a government because they don't have the numbers to do it on their own. They've cut some sort of a deal with a bunch of religious loonies called the DUP, conservative religious inspired unionist group from Northern Ireland. with the support of the DUP, they can hold government, but that's really tenuous and is not necessarily going to bathe the Tories in glory. The DUP tending to be religious fundamentalists who do things like deny that evolution is a thing, deny climate change. Really just not big fans of science, in fact. So the Tories are on very tenuous ground, and the Prime Minister herself, Theresa May, is on very tenuous ground because now she looks really weak. She failed. As Peter was saying in a comment there, the Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, has been just shat on since he became leader because other members of the parliamentary party, a big chunk of them, don't really like Corbyn. He's an old school lefty, and Labour got remade in the 90s by Tony Blair. Tony Blair and the neoliberals. It's like, no, we are the party that came out of the Labour movement and the left wing, but now we love big business. And supporting America in their unjustifiable wars. So that had been the face of Labour since the 90s. They're like, we're not those old lefties anymore. And then Corbyn got elected leader because it's not just the parliamentary party who vote for leader, it's the entire rank and file of the party, the public, who vote for the leader, and they voted for Corbyn. A bunch of the parliamentary party didn't like him and did really shitty, brutal stuff to try and get rid of him, and he didn't pay attention, and they ended up calling another leadership ballot, and they tried really hard to cut out anyone they thought was going to vote for Corbyn. It's like Corbyn energised the old Labour base who had let their membership lapse, and so when he became leader, all these people were signing up, yep, I'm in the Labour Party now, I'm going to back Corbyn. And the Blairites tried to stop these people from being allowed to vote. But anyway, with all their shenanigans, Corbyn got elected leader again, and then he led them into this election, and still these people were hacking on their own leader, which is a really shitty thing to do. It's really uncool to undermine your own leader like that. And they were all proven wrong, because they went, no, Corbyn's unelectable, he's not going to get support, Labour's going to get wiped out, we're going to cease to exist. And he boosted their seats, they won 30 or 40 seats in the election, about half from the Tories and half from the Scottish Nationalist Party. Big bad ads, you're right, British Labour and Australian Labour are very similar. Both came out of the Labour, i.e. union movement. Both have since become more than a bit middle of the road in more recent years. I mean, they're still progressive compared to the Conservative parties, but they're not like the old school fire and brimstone pro-union Labour Party. But under Corbyn, who knows? Now, he's come out of this election quite strongly. He is apparently, he smells blood in the water. He sees how weak Theresa May is now. He's going to do everything in his power to knock her off. And see, and that's the thing. If he can push things to the point where the Parliament passes a no confidence motion in her and her government, then it's all sugar. I mean, realistically, he, in the current setup, he can't be Prime Minister. Labour can't form government because they need the support of literally everyone apart from the Tories, and some of the minor parties really fucking hate Labour, so they're not going to support him. But what's not beyond the bounds of possibility is things are so destabilised. There is another general election before that much longer, and when people who are possibly feeling demoralised by the Tories and thinking Labour weren't a force and that Corbyn couldn't lead, now suddenly see Labour clearly can lead, Corbyn can clearly lead Labour to success, and so they'll rally behind him, things could change. They might not change. They might stay the same. But the interesting thing is, without a clear majority in order to get any of her policies through. Theresa May has to get all of her own party voting in line, which is not always easy, particularly if they think she's been weakened and they don't need to go along with her. But they also need people from outside the party to support them, which they really can't rely on at the moment. So, at the very least, it looks like the Tories will have much more trouble getting through their more extreme policies. Like maybe they won't be able to destroy the National Health Service. Who knows what effect this is going to have on Brexit? That's very hard to see. But it basically just got a lot more interesting. Like, what's really interesting, like in Australia's recent history, it's been a bit volatile with prime ministers getting knocked off by their own party while they're in power, which used to be borderline unheard of, but now it's clearly a very big risk, both parties having done it. But when you saw the thing, when Julia Gillard went into a general election after having knocked off sitting Prime Minister Kevin Rudd and taking the job over, there's a lot going against her, and she didn't get a majority, but they had the most seats and they got the support of some third parties, and so she led a minority government, same as Theresa May's forced to do now. The interesting thing was Julia Gillard's minority government was much more effective than the subsequent majority Conservative government led by Tony Abbott, because he was such an asshole and so extreme. He had fights every step of the way. He had so much trouble getting any policies passed because he behaved like such an asshole. He was getting obstructed in the Senate because he just acted like, oh, Prime Minister, you have to do what I say. And people don't have to do what he says. Whereas Gillard, now, I don't have the power to force or push anyone. I have to make deals for every bit of policy. I have to make concessions for every bit of policy. And so she was getting laws passed. She was getting policy in place. Abbott, with a majority government, was far less effective. So I've gotten to the point where I think, you know what? I think a minority government's actually better than a majority government, because you got these people go, no, you got to have a majority voted in and you get your policies in there. And it's like, well, you know, you get this thing where you didn't even necessarily get more than half the people voting for you, but because of the way the electoral system works, you end up with control. And then if you want to just autocratically steamroll people and not take anyone into account, it's like, but even if you did, say you got 55% of the people voted for you and you got power, there's still 45% of people who didn't vote for you. And if you're an autocratic prick like Tony Abbott, who just wants to steamroll people, that's like 45% of the people being shat on. But if you're in a minority and you have to cut deals, I just think that seems like a potential for a much better outcome. And for an actual real-world example, I point to Julia Gillard. Her minority government was quite effective. There are certain things that you just can't do. Social change, like she made it clear after talking to a few people and seeing who'd support what, she made it clear that her government wasn't going to push for marriage equality because she'd clearly been told that she would pay too big a political price for that. And morally the wrong thing to do, but she just went politically, pragmatically, all the gay people, throw them under the bus because it'll do me too much damage politically. I'm fighting a lot of battles already. I can't deal with one more battle. So all the gay people wanting rights, sorry, you get thrown under the bus. Because it's just not politically expedient to promote marriage equality now. And that's the flat out. Like I said, I might admire some of the things the Gillard government did. I don't admire the fact they abandoned any idea of supporting marriage equality just from political pragmatism, because I thought that was a really shitty thing to do. But I know why they did it, but it was a shitty thing to do. So, swings and roundabouts. And, when you get really fucking stupid autocrats like Donald Trump thinking they've got the power to do anything, notice how ineffective Donald Trump is. Got a Republican kind of president, Republican-controlled Congress, Republican-controlled Senate, and they can't get anything done because there's this idiot fucking autocrat trying to rule by decree and saying shit that's really unpopular and, very popular with a core of assholes, but, with 60-70% of the population, really unpopular. Hello, QR Huggies. But not acknowledging the fact that you need to win people over and just behaving like a complete autocrat. Yes, you seriously asking if I'm done unpacking? Can't you see behind? I'm in the spare room again tonight. Look at all the boxes. It's like a bookshelf, but instead of unpacking the books, they're still in boxes. I haven't unpacked them. But I went as far as to not have the boxes in a pile in a corner, and they're all like on the bookshelf where they should go. I just need to unpack them at some point. Any unpacking. Yeah, there's a little bit of progress made every day. Oh my God, one day I should do a walk around the yard, because Mrs. Angry's a gardener, and she's really starting to make some headway with the yard. She's got lots of plants. She likes succulents and cactus and related plants, and she likes orchids, and she's got a lot done in the yard and the garden, and it's looking pretty cool. This room, oh my God, need to make a serious effort in this room because it's a bit of a disaster at the moment. But there's a big workable space here. There's a desk here, there's an open workable space, and there's a lounge over there. So it's a big usable space and half a big pile of boxes. It's half usable and half a big pile of boxes. And there's probably stuff I want in some of those boxes as well. Garage, don't even get me started. Well, we've got a little shed thing, and that's another version of this, basically. So, I don't know. I think it's going to take us about a year to unpack. Be a shocker if we have to move after a year, because this is a rented place. Sign a 1-year lease. It would really suck if we had to move after a year, because I think it'll take us a year to unpack. It would really suck to have just unpacked and then have to pack and move again. Yeah. Annette, I just moved like a couple months ago, and it was the first time I'd moved in over 10 years. It was basically right on 10 years, and all our kids aged from under 10 to through their teenage years. So you can imagine how much crap we built up. It was a fucking nightmare. It was a worst experience. It was so stressful. It was just shitty. Moving was terrible. And on top of everything else, on top of the move being shitty, the reason we moved is our landlord, after 10 years, just decided to be a complete fucking asshole. And I decided, no, I'm not putting up with this. We're moving. And then he was an asshole about the move, like demanding that we do this, that, and the other. That was all unreasonable. And then wouldn't agree to give us our bond back, and we had to go to bloody VCAT, the appeals tribunal. He was a complete asshole. And this is like, we'd been there, and it was an old house, and we'd been there for over 10 years. And he was demanding, he said it was our responsibility that it had to be recarpeted and repainted and needed new curtains. And all this shit was old when we moved in. And he was claiming after 10 years, we were responsible for all. And the weirdest thing is, it's just in the law. There's a 10% a year depreciation. So it's just how it is. After 10 years, the commercial value of the flooring, the paint, the fittings was zero. And that's not negotiable. That's how the law works. And yet he still claimed, like, he literally claimed $30,000. He said we owed him $30,000. And it almost all got thrown out. But it was really stressful. Like, when I saw his claim, I was like, this can't possibly get accepted. It can't possibly get accepted. But until it got thrown out, it was really stressful. But then, mind you, the hearing where the guy at the tribunal stopped just short of, what the fuck do you think you're doing with this bullshit? He made it clear that he thought it was bullshit, but he stopped about this short of actually saying, my God, this is the worst bullshit I've ever seen. So, yeah, it all got rejected. In fact, there were a couple of things that I thought were reasonable, but the fact that it all got... Oh, sorry, Rose, you're asking, have I ever tried Uber? No, I haven't. I don't get taxis very often either. I have a very big problem with Uber. Uber is a shit company and a scam. Uber treats all its drivers and staff like shit. Uber's model is not sustainable. Their plan is to be propped up with venture capital cash until they destroy the existing taxi system, and then they have like a monopoly, and then they can change all the rules. They have made it absolutely clear their two biggest goals are to pay drivers less and to charge users more. They are completely open that that's their plan. And even not just the drivers, like the people who develop the software and run the company, they get treated like shit. Like, there are such extreme stories of sexual harassment at Uber and really fucking bad management, just really awful practices. I'm not saying I'll never use Uber, but I haven't yet. And I'm certainly not going to rush to it, because Uber is a fucking garbage company and it's run by fucking garbage people. And yes, look, taxis, like anyone, I have nightmare horror stories about taxis. I fucking hate taxis too, and hate taxi drivers. But, and the one thing taxi drivers have to understand is their old world where you paid a fortune for a taxi driver license. That's over. That's done. They keep saying, like, oh, no, we started this with this idea that someone needed $30,000 to get a taxi license and we paid that for it and blah, blah, blah. Tough fucking luck, man. The world changed. What you need to do is adapt. And possibly because the government did those licenses and the government got the money for those licenses, possibly the government has to cough up and say, oh, look, that's no longer supportable. But taxi drivers, taxi companies just have to accept the world has changed and they need to adapt to it. This whole, like, we're going to go and beat up Uber drivers, and you're just flying in the face of reality, and you need to get over it. Video Dude asked what I would do if Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons came through, which I have had happen. I just close the door on them. Like, I don't engage them at all. I just, like, not interested. And although, because as I've said in other streams and other videos, I live in a really Jewish part of town, and for some reason, I find the Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormon types, door knocking in known Jewish enclaves. I find that really rude. I'm not Jewish, but it's just like, you're being a complete dick doing this in this neighborhood. I mean, I think you're being a complete dick doing it everywhere, but to actually come into like a really orthodox Jewish neighborhood and door knock saying, by the way, do you know all your beliefs are shit and you're going to hell? You have to believe this crazy shit. And it's just like, no. Kilter King, the that's happened. Taxi drivers have physically assaulted Uber drivers. That's happened in Australia a number of times. Bet it's happened in the US heaps. But yes, I don't have a lot of time for religious door knockers. And yes, having been brought up Catholic and kind of outgrown all that stuff, the Christian cults, really, I have no time for. It's like, really, the mainstream religion's not loony enough for you. You have to come up with your own loony fringe version. Good. And I mean, what is it with Mormonism, okay? Because there's one thing, you do get a lot of incredibly nice people who are Mormons, okay? Like, do a lot of good, help a lot of people. But Mormonism itself is blindingly fucking stupid and an obvious scam. And you always get people, particularly atheists, go, that's all religion. No, it's not. No, it fucking isn't. It really isn't. And it's bullshit and false equivalence to say it is. Do I block anyone? Nah, I just block worthless shit-eating cunts. That fuckwit was someone I blocked on YouTube. They think they're being shocking. You know, they had the username like Ivanka Trump with a swastika, and they use that stupid Pepe Frog thing, and it's like, oh, are you triggered much? Go, no, you're a childish little fuckwit and a complete waste of time. It's like, I don't disagree with neo-Nazis. I recognise that neo-Nazis who are worthless fucking scum who need to be crushed. It's as simple as that. It isn't a disagreement. When you're a Hitler-worshipping, zig-heil-throwing white nationalist who preaches genocide, you need to fucking go. That's not a disagreement. You're fucking scum and you need your fucking head caved in. It's like, and they think they're so fucking clever. It's like, oh, triggered much? Ooh. It's like, no, not triggered. You're just fucking garbage. You're fucking worthless. You're shit. And it's like the whole thing, like, when that fuckhead Richard Spencer got punched, people, and I'm saying, yeah, punch him repeatedly, okay? People go, you can't just punch people you disagree with. I don't punch people I disagree with. But when someone is an open Nazi, you've got to shut that shit down. It's not a disagreement. It's not a difference of opinion. When someone worships Hitler, throws Hitler salutes, says Zig Heil, talks about genocide of anyone who's not white, they're fucking scum and you've got to fucking get rid of them. It's as simple as that. And then there's like, some, you know, in some way, like, you know, a journalist gets punched by a Trump supporter. They go, well, you were okay with the Nazi getting punched. Why aren't you okay with the journalist getting punched by a Nazi? So this is not complicated. Punch Nazis. Don't punch other people, okay? Punching Nazis is not saying I punch people I disagree with. Punching Nazis is I punch enemies of fucking humanity. That's what it is. Jesus H. Titty fucking Christ. How the fuck people make something really simple so fucking complicated is beyond me. Just got no time for it. Exactly, Tendai. Bash the fash. It's just like, at what point in history did, you know, okay, Siberia, that thing, don't punch anyone, bring them to the light and show them. One of them's the fucking president of the United States. What the fuck? Are you not paying attention to a single fucking thing that's happening in the fucking world? What the actual fuck? He's got people on his staff who are open Hitler worshippers, actual fucking neo-Nazis who preach genocide. What in the actual fuck is wrong with you? The concept that we have to treat Nazis with respect because we treat people generally with respect is fucking ridiculous. It's fucking stupid and it's moronic, and I'm not playing that stupid fucking game. They're fucking Nazis and they need to be fucking taught that that isn't fucking acceptable. Jesus Christ. That is the most pathetic, whiny, pathetic shit ever. And I will not put up with it for a fucking second. Fucking false equivalence. It's like, oh, all they want to do is exterminate other races. Why don't we let them come out in public and say, hey, I think I'm into exterminating other races? Jenny Sleaze, oh no, you're a worthless... No, you're not a Nazi. No. Okay, I know who that is too. Why the fuck do people come out wanting to be blocked? As someone who's an anti-Zionist. Look, there's someone who commented on one of my videos. They got really upset that I used the phrase, you know, I support the right of the state of Israel to exist. I'm very opposed to a huge number of things done by Israelis, Israeli military, and the Israeli government. But I do respect the right of the state of Israel to exist. This person does not agree with that. Fine, I will let you state that you don't agree. But if you won't shut the fuck up, if you won't just say your piece and leave it, then yes, I find you boring and stupid and worthless, and I will fucking block you. Jesus. Yes, you probably did miss something, Rose. I just got it. Someone just commented who I did actually block from my YouTube channel because they wouldn't shut the fuck up with their fucking propaganda. And I can tell when someone's not worth wasting time on, okay? I'm completely okay with people disagreeing with me. What I won't do is waste time on someone who won't shut the fuck up. Aussie Brick Chick, I don't think I missed a Nazi troll. I think I blocked a Nazi troll. There might be another one. Who knows? Might be another one. This other person who's upset with me is not a Nazi, and I never used the word Nazi, so go fuck yourself, you pathetic straw man spouting shithead, okay? If you can't stick to actual facts, you can get fucked. I'm talking to Rose. Okay, good. So, yes, someone who is, say, shut the fuck up, you boring piece of shit. You're in timeout, in the naughty chair. It's just like, fucking hell. I'm definitely anti-Zionist, but just someone who's on their fucking hobby horse and won't shut the fuck up. It's like, sure, okay. It's like, I'm pro-Palestinian and anti-Israel. Sure, good on you. I don't think Israel has a right to exist. Okay, you're now getting into an extreme zone where I don't really want to talk to you. I don't care that you don't want to talk to me. I'm going to go. Oh no, Rose, she knows what's happening. She's out watching telly in the next room. Celtic King, I actually got to talk to Aidsy today, which was a big plus. Because what's happening? On Tuesday, he's getting all his teeth taken out. The remaining gross stumps of teeth he's got in his head anyway. So they're all getting taken out. And then when that heals, he's getting dentures. So he'll look a bit more like a normal human. But we agreed that once he gets his teeth taken out, if he stabilizes a bit and he's feeling okay, and he hasn't got any sort of terrible infections or broken jaws or things requiring hospitalization, he will come over and we'll make fun videos of Aidsy tries to learn to talk again, because apparently it's really hard to talk without teeth. You have to learn. So as of Tuesday, he's not going to have any teeth, and I think it takes anywhere from weeks to a month or sometimes more for the gums to heal enough for dentures to be fitted. So he's going to be eating through a straw for a while and having trouble talking. So I think we should make fun of him, quite honestly. Damn fucking straight, big bad. These people who call themselves, I'm a proud Aussie, I show it by flying a swastika. What? You show it by perpetuating the fucking fascist oppression that our country fought against and that millions of people died fighting. Wow, you're such an awesome patriot. You're the best. A patriotic Australian, I've said that. Not joking. in my life on YouTube, I have blocked thousands of people. Most of them were spammers, but there will be thousands of people that I just thought, you're a fucking asshole. And even when I don't block them, the fact that I refuse to pander to people, that is just like, no, fuck, your political view is fucked. I'm not going to pretend it's not. I'm not that desperate for views. I'm not that desperate to be loved that I'm going to suck up to someone and go, oh, look, let's be open. I'm going to be neutral. Neutral is bullshit. Neutral is vapid cowardice, okay? As I said, apart from Nazis, I'm willing to give people, I say, you can state your point of view. You can say why you don't like me. You can say why you hate what I said. If you say it once, if you won't shut the fuck up, I've got better things to do with my life than waste it on you. And it's as simple as that. And that's the thing. These people go, you have to engage me. No, I don't. No, I really don't. Oh, Bernie, just get prosthetics. I mean, but you I don't know if you're joking, but that used to be the fashion. That used to be the fashion. It's like, oh, your teeth are all going to rot out one day, so why not just pull them all out now and get dentures? Yep, that happened to my mum. She was like still a teenager and just got all her teeth taken out. That was up until the 60s, 50s, 60s. It was really common to just say, look, your teeth are all going to rot out one day. Why go through all that? Let's just rip them all out now and put dentures in. That was mainstream. That's what used to happen all the time. So, oh my God. It's just like, but could you imagine, like, I saw a funny thing once, I was talking about, the Borg on Star Trek and how, they're the worst and we've got to resist them. And the person saying, are you joking? If an alien race came to Earth and said, oh, we're going to upgrade you and give you all these neat cybernetic enhancements, make you stronger, you'll share the knowledge of thousands of other races and just be better, everyone would go, fuck yeah, sign me up, I'm there. Yep. And, that's a fair point. Yeah, Sebastian, glad we have fluoride in the water now. It really helps the whole tooth decay thing. I think there's fluoride in my vodka. That's my defense for drinking it. Yeah, Bjorn, you're right. But the idea, seriously? The whole idea of not wanting to be assimilated by the Borg or taken over by Cybermen is like, oh no, we don't be. You see what people do to themselves now? Whether it's, tattoos or body modifications or whatnot. Seriously, they can do it. Rose, yes, if I time out someone, they can come back. If they don't learn from the fact I time out them, I will block them. So, for instance, the outright Nazi that briefly popped up that was so brief, you might not have noticed it, but I recognised their username. I just blocked them because I knew they were a complete waste of time. The second one, I did time her out. She's just an rabid anti-Zionist. And look, cool. Did say the bullshit, oh, so I'm a Nazi. No, I never said you're a Nazi. Kind of makes you, do you have a guilty conscience? Is that why you went there? Because I didn't go there. I just thought you were an annoying prick, basically. It was like, you won't shut the fuck up. It's like, I was about to say, you feel free to disagree with me, just don't waste my time. And if I tell you that I've got no more interest in what you're going on with, then there are two choices. Go somewhere else, or I'll fucking send you somewhere else. Because why the fuck would I waste my time on it? Because, again, these people go, but you have to engage me. No, I don't. Big Bad Ads, you're absolutely right that fluoride is an Illuminati mind control thing, and I think there should be more of it. The lady doth protest too much. Beast from a Spider-Man episode. That's actually Shakespeare, my friend. The lady doth protest too much. But yes, it's quoted in other mediums, other media. But yes, it is that whole thing. One of my favourite examples of that was a comic I saw a little bit. Chaz, isn't it better to defeat them with arguments? Here's the thing. I will openly talk with anyone who's having a reasonable conversations. Fuckheads on the internet are a waste of time. They are soul-sucking, time-wasting fuckwits. And if you think it's better to talk to them, go talk to them. I have better things to do with my life. It's like anyone willing to be reasonable, I'll talk to. Annoying loudmouth fuckheads on the internet who won't shut the fuck up, I'm not playing their dumb fucking games. Let's change to the brighter topic of what do I think about the new Doctor Who? I quite like it. I think it's a pretty good season. I really like Capaldi as Doctor Who. Tonight's episode was good. I watched it just before coming on. Ice Warriors. The Ice Queen in it. Man, all I could think when I saw the Ice Queen, the Martian Ice Queen, there's a bunch of female cosplayers out there frantically taking notes, doing character sketches, getting little bits of detail off it. You're going to see in upcoming sci-fi cons, particularly for any women who are taller, because, well, watch it on iView, Luke. Because the Martian Ice Queen was big, so any bigger women are going to be mad into cosplaying. But, you know, they've had a few inspirations recently, really. What's the actress's name she's in Gwendolyn Christie? She's in Game of Thrones. And she's also Captain Phasma in Star Wars. Man, it's like, you know, hey, are you a 6-foot woman who was looking for a role model for your cosplay? There you go. You got Gwendolyn Christie. Maya, I'm fine, thank you. I was just talking about Azy. He's okay. I talked to him today. He's getting all his teeth taken out. And then if he feels okay after that, if he hasn't got any sort of infections or complications, I might force him to come on camera and make fun of the fact he can't talk because he hasn't got any teeth. It would be fun getting him on a live stream and we could, you know, try and make him do tongue twisters. Should be fun to see him try and say, she sells seashells by the seashore. And people say, aren't you being mean? Yes. Yes, I am. It's all Azy understands. If he wants love, it has to be tough love. And it will look like cruelty sometimes. Sometimes it will look like cruelty, but he needs to understand his place in the world. The Predator's really shitty in the Predators all the way. Xenomorphs. The Predator v Alien movies aren't that great, but I actually did read some Predator v Alien comics, and they were actually pretty good. The whole thing with how the Predators hunt the Xenomorphs because they are one of the most deadly life forms in the universe, so that's the prize trophy for the Predator hunters. Comics were better than the movies. So, but yes, it's fun sort of picking holes in things like, okay, one of my favourite things in Star Trek Next Generation and onwards are the Borg. And I think they're pretty cool, and but there are plot holes a mile wide. Aussie Brick Chick, I seamlessly shift between topics because I got to keep going. Got to come up with new things to say so I don't get stuck. So while I think the Borg are one of the coolest things in the Star Trek universe, there are plot holes a mile wide. Like whenever, you know, the Star Trek crew are on a Borg cube or a ship that's been taken over by the Borg, they go, oh, don't act threatening to them. If they don't see you as a threat, they won't attack you. They'll just walk straight by you. That's dumb as shit. Anyone who is not Borg is by definition hostile to the Borg. That is such a dumb plot device. It really annoys me. And the other one is how when you use energy weapons, the Borg adapt. They communicate what was the signature of the energy weapon, and they adapted to don't work. So use projectile weapons. They can't adapt on that. And people say you can't fire a gun in space. Even in the current world, there are specific ammunition designed to kill a person, but if it hits a wall, they just go flat and don't go through the wall, because that's cop ammunition. That's about not killing someone in the next room. So it would be trivially easy to get handguns or rifles that fired soft ammunition that hitting someone and would destroy organic matter on impact, but wouldn't damage the hull of a spaceship. And the Borg couldn't assimilate to that. Like, if you punch a big fucking hole straight through their organic component, you're gonna kill them. And it's like, that one thing. Suddenly the Borg aren't that thing. And also, because they're all using laser weapons that, the Borg cube deflects. Fucking fire nukes at them. What are they going to do with a nuke? I'll just wrap myself around a nuke and that will be fine. Like, that's not an energy thing you can adapt to. Just fucking a bunker buster nuke straight into a Borg cube, It's gonna fuck them up. So yeah, while the Borg are one of my favourite things in the Star Trek universe, the plot holes around them really annoy me. There's a question about the ALP leadership. I don't think Bill Shorten should be leader of the ALP. I think it's bullshit that he's leader of the ALP. He was too instrumental in the unnecessary nastiness that was the removal of Kevin Rudd and the subsequent removal of Julia Gillard. He was instrumental in both of those, and then he got fucking rewarded by being made leader. He should not have been rewarded for his role there. Albo, we got a few Albo supporters. I would support Albo over Bill Shorten, because all Bill Shorten's shtick has ever been is, I'm not Tony Abbott. And I really don't think he deserves to be leader, and he's nothing. Wouldn't mind seeing Penny Sony moving to Lower House. Okay, big badass. I'm sure you were here when we had this conversation before. Penny Wong is one of my favourite people in the ALP. She's friggin' awesome, but she's also a lesbian of Asian extraction. Julia Gillard copped unbelievable amounts of bile just for being female. Can you imagine what an Asian lesbian would cop? I wouldn't wish that on Penny Wong. She doesn't deserve it. Ruki-san, I agree. Plibisek as well. Plibisek is also better than Shorten. Ugh. So, yeah, I don't think Bill Shorten should be leader of the ALP. I think he fails to inspire as a leader. Dottie, that's a good point. She can do stuff in the Senate, but oh man, Penny Wong. For those who don't know, and there could be people who know nothing about Australian politics, Penny Wong just makes me laugh, because you don't want to get on her bad side. Like when she's like at a question time or something in Parliament, or a session where they're talking about policy and someone gets on her wrong side, she is fucking withering. Like, you don't, man, the look she gives people when she's had enough of them, fuck, you do not want to get on her side. And there was one priceless bit of video, I think it was in the ABC studios, which was going in for an interview, and the soon-to-be ex-treasurer at that point, Joe Hockey, was in a studio being interviewed, and he was just coming out a door as Penny Wong was walking past, and he did this simpering big smile, "Hi, Penny," and she just looked at him and went, "Ugh," and just walked past him. It's just like, and that was all recorded on camera, and it was just like, man, you could just think if there was no one watching, she would have fucking nutted him. Just fucking like, shut up, dickhead. Not talking to dickheads like you. It's just like, she's awesome, but I wouldn't wish the hate on her, quite honestly. National Anthem Mines. Yeah, look, Mike, here's another thing. I'm not even as mad at Twiggy Forrest as I am at Gina Reinhardt and her fucking father, because it's an interesting thing. all their wealth is stolen, is flat out stolen. Video dude, I assume people are already worshipping me, okay? It's nice that you asked, what do I think of the idea of setting up an Angry Shine and worship me? I assume it's what you all do when I finish a live stream. Don't tell me I'm wrong. Don't tell me I'm wrong. I don't want the illusion spoiled, but I was under the assumption that was already happening. But yeah, look, we the Australian public have been ripped off to the tune of billions of dollars, particularly for Gina Reinhardt and her dad, who flat out stole the mining operations in Western Australia. Because you see, there was a law that you couldn't make commercial gain, like mining, for off the back of work already done by a government assayer who said, hey, look, there's actually mineral wealth here. Then the government owned that. You couldn't go, okay, I'm going to go and take it. It was government land. God, what was her dad's name again? What was Gina Reinhardt's dad's name? I've gone blank. But he always told this story about how he was on a light plane flight. Lang, that's it. Thank you. Lang Hancock. Thank you, Maya. He always told this story about when he got his first lease. He was on a light aircraft flight, just flying some sunny thing, and it had to put down unexpectedly. They found a flat space, and he looked, and all the rocks was red, and he realised it was iron oxide. And he go, I've stumbled upon mineral wealth. I'll lodge a claim. And the state government fought him because it wasn't unknown. It was known that there was significant mineral deposits there. His whole story that it hadn't been discovered was a complete lie. And his story of landing was also a lie because there's no recorded flight pattern that does that. So he knew, because of government surveys, there was mineral wealth there, filed a completely false claim saying, oh look, I've discovered this by myself. The government fought him on it and should have won, but the major newspaper from Western Australia was in Lang Hancock's pocket and ran all these government stories, anti-government stories, and the government got scared and granted him the mine. So all the billions of dollars that Lang Hancock, Gina Reinhardt and their foreign mates took out of the country is fucking stolen. Quite simply, simple as that. And yes, the Aboriginal problem that someone's been talking about is absolutely true. It's even, if you want to hear some good music, pick up AB Original's album. That is a really good album. Aussie Indigenous rappers Trials and Briggs teaming up under the name AB Original. And there's a few good tracks on it, and one of them has a bit of audio. It's from an ABC story when Lang Hancock proposed, you know how I'll solve the Aboriginal problem, as if Indigenous Australians are just a problem to be solved. Get all the ones he doesn't like, the mixed breed ones, and put them all in one place, and then put something in the water that'll sterilise them, and then they'll just die out. Like, yes, you know, because they're not humans, they're not people, right? They're just a problem that Lang Hancock has to sort out. Speaking of fucking Hitler-loving genocide preachers, holy fucking... And that was like, you know, he was the Prime Minister's best friend. It was just like... And the dude's actually... describing these people as subhuman and wants to kill them off. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, and he was proud of that idea. That wasn't secret. That wasn't something done in a back room that inadvertently got out. That was what he preached publicly. That's what he thought was a noble thing to do. So yeah, fuck Lang Hancock, fuck Gina Reinhardt, fuck Twiggy Forrest, all these pricks who fucking stolen billions of dollars from the Australian public. Gina Reinhardt is, oh, why should I pay people more than $2 a day? Africans would work for $2 a day. Fuck off, okay? Just fuck right off. And the whole thing, I'm paying too much tax. I tell you what, fuck off then. Get the fuck out, go the fuck away. I'll run all your companies and I'll happily give 90% of the money to the government in the form of tax. Happily, because then I'd still have hundreds of millions of dollars. Jesus, these people are such fucking scum. Ugh. Yeah, Chaz, it's like she actually... But that was her actual phrase. She actually said, oh, bloody unions are ripping me off with them wanting to pay people. She's like, Africans, like you say, like that's just one amorphous blob, will smear for $2. Oh, God, Maya, how was the Murdoch tabloid smears against fucking Jeremy Corbyn and this thing? And I talked about this in a previous video. That shit should be illegal. Hi, Taz. You know, people say, are you in favour of free speech? Well, kind of, sort of. And I think people who abuse anything of free speech should fucking pay a price as a result. And particularly media outlets that deliberately push absolute lies and fucking poison political discourse with their lies and vitriol. They should be shut the fuck down. And I'm not talking like Donald Trump's stupid, oh, fake news. Basically, anyone who says anything he doesn't like. Look, I'm all for people saying stuff I don't like. But that shit that was going on in the British tabloids in the lead up to this election, that was not a difference of opinion. That was fucking brutal lies and just absolute poisoning of public discourse and poisoning of the political system. They should all be fucking facing charges. That's what I'm saying. I've said this in other streams before. If I had godlike smiting powers, they'd fucking think twice about doing that. I'd give them a chance. I'd pull them in and go, hey, sit. Okay, now, what did I say about being complete knobs? Okay, fine, push an ideology. Everyone has an ideology. I get that. Crossing the line, doing it so, no. You got to fall. There's going to be a mysterious push and you're going to fall into your printing presses, okay? That's what's going to happen. So don't these idiots understand genetic diversity? Bjorn, that is a really interesting question. These people who are terrified of genetic diversity, yeah, no, maybe they just want to fuck their cousins. I don't know. Maya, you're right that this vitriol from the media helped Corbyn, and I was so relieved because until the election, it was impossible to be sure what would happen. It's like, oh my God, did people, particularly young people, swallow these lies? Like, because they were really fucking non-stop brutal lies, and it's like, oh my God, did it work? And it felt so good to see. Well, it might have been partially successful, but it wasn't successful like they thought. Like, you could see the Murdoch crowd were convinced that the only right result was an increased majority for the Tories. Oh, Sebastian, you're right. I saw that report too, that there was a report that Murdoch had been at a election night party at the Daily Telegraph headquarters, and as soon as results started coming out that were not favourable to the Tories, he stormed out, and that was quite early in the evening. So, fuck you, Rupert. Fuck you, you prick. He is poisonous. He's a poisonous old reptile, that bloke. He's just awful. And even people saying, oh, you hate Rupert, you're a commie. He's not a capitalist. He fucking thinks he's royalty. If he was constrained by the rules of capitalism, he wouldn't be able to do the things he does. He subverts capitalism to use other people's money to maintain control of his companies. It's like, yeah, Maya, that's a fair way to put it. Murdoch's just a communist for the rich. It's like, yes, I'm going to do a redistribution of wealth, but only to the people who already have most of it. Murdoch is not a capitalist. Open capitalism is anathema to Murdoch. He regards himself as like royalty. He rules by decree. And fucking Jesus, elections, he doesn't like them unless they produce the exact result he wants. I mean, and of course, okay, no one really likes when an election delivers a result they don't want, but he, democracy is just a plaything for him. He just subverts it all the time. He doesn't believe in democracy. He believes in fucking people over and subverting their democracy. So, yeah, being anti-Murdoch doesn't make me anti-capitalist. because he's not a capitalist. He's an oligarch. He wants to be supreme ruler. So yeah, no, fuck that guy. It would be interesting to see if the world changes for the better when he dies, which honestly can't be very far away. But this is, by the way, this is not wishing death on him. This is just wondering, like, will the world and the Fox Media empire continue exactly the same, or will it actually improve without him? I don't know. I mean, Biori, I agree that maybe it is just going to continue as it is, but hey, who knows? Bring up Gough Whitlam now, the martyr of Australian political progressives. Yeah, well, Australia had stagnated for decades under Conservatives, and then Gough came in and just fucking took everything by the throat and made all these radical changes. And it was probably too radical because then his government got undermined by undemocratic forces and he got kicked out. But he changed Australia for the better. There's no two ways about it. Yeah, free education. I think that Jeremy Corbyn wants to bring back in. It would be... Sydney didn't even have sewage before Whitlam. Whitlam changed so many things in such a short period of time. To the point, yeah, progressives still think he's awesome. Conservatives still hate him. Conservatives still think he's the devil. Helena, is there anything Whitlam did that I think is bad? Honestly, I'm too young to really know in deep, and I'm not a student of political history. I am too young to know in detail. There's no two ways about it. There would have been stuff Whitlam did that I disagreed with. There's all that stuff about because he was trying to borrow money to fund various things, and because of political pressures, he couldn't get money the usual way, and so he went through these really shifty ways to get money for the government, and that's not really the right thing to do, and that undermined everything. And so if I knew more in detail about what happened in the Whitlam era, there would definitely be stuff that I didn't agree with. Just because this is people disagree. No one knows what happened, but yeah, in broad terms, he made massive changes to Australia to the huge benefit of the majority of Australians. So I have no doubt I could find things about Whitlam I disagreed with, but in general terms, he did so much good for Australia. So that's the thing. Oh my God, this is just a funny story. Australian politics, like politics everywhere, is corrupt as fuck. Hi, Manuel. And Australian politicians of every stripe and at every level have interacted with really serious criminals. New South Wales is probably the high point of corruption. Like, we all talk about Queensland being corrupt, but that's fucking Bush League, man. New South Wales corruption is fucking hardcore. And it was really seriously entrenched. Organised crime was entrenched in New South Wales by a Liberal Premier. I think it was Askin, the one before Neville ran. Anyway, this guy, there are photos of the Premier of the state at opening night parties of illegal casinos in King's Cross. He's with the biggest organised crime figures in Sydney at the opening night party of an illegal casino. Like, the corruption was that intense. And then Nifty Neville ran, it just fucking turned it into a business, turned crime and corruption in New South Wales into a business. Like, it's fucking hardcore. There's a little one about Gough Whitlam. I read a really interesting book about a criminal called Chow Hayes, nicknamed Chow Hayes. He's a razor man from the glory days of Australian crime in the 1930s. That's a fun period to read about if you ever want to look it up. Read about the razor gangs, and particularly in New South Wales in about the 1930s. And one of the most feared enforcers was Chow Hayes, and he was dangerous as fuck. And in his book, well, it's not his book, it's a journalist interviewed him and wrote up the story of Chow's life. He just told this offhand story like, hey, I was in a party and it was basically all the crime bosses were there and all the well-to-do of society were there as well. And I was being introduced to some people and I got introduced to this young bloke, really tall bloke. And someone said, oh, you have to meet him, you know, he's going to be really important. And Chow's like, yeah, whatever, shake hands, talk to this bloke, whatever. Yeah, he's a big, tall bloke. And it wasn't until years later Chow Hayes realised that was Gough Whitlam he was being introduced to. Big Bad Ads, what's my opinion of Paul Keating? Paul Keating is a funny character. Okay, speaking of someone who, broadly, I'm on the same side as politically. He was Treasurer and then Prime Minister in the Labor Party. But he's more conservative than me economically and to a large extent socially as well. But you wouldn't be hugely surprised to learn I love the way Paul Keating insulted people. Paul Keating was very intelligent. He was very switched on and really did not tolerate anyone he considered to be a fool and did not spare at all people that he didn't like. So yes, the invective of Paul Keating was truly legendary. It was bloody amazing. But yeah, like politically, Paul Keating was much more right-wing economically and to a degree socially than I am. But, you know, he was pretty goddamn effective in politics. And sometimes that's all that counts. Sebastian, Keating did some very daring things with the economy. Not what I'd call unalloyed goods, but he did some very daring things that did some very big changes. Maya, deregulating the currency. That is a political hot potato. Because while a deregulated currency can fluctuate radically, there is also a big downside to a regulated currency, namely that you're trying to trade with people internationally and say, I'm going to buy it for that many dollars. It can be very difficult if they're with an unregulated economy and they can hold you to ransom for certain things. Well, now you have to pay this much. So it's not absolutely cut and dried. There are positive and negatives to both. And Taz, you have shrewdly noticed I'm in a room with a lot more junk. Yes, I've done it done the live streams in a few different rooms in my house. This is like our spare room, like an office. There's a desk here. And yes, there's a lot of crap behind me that hasn't been unpacked properly. But this is a little closed room. I got it more to myself. This, you know, has some positives being in this room. So, yes, it's not bad. Ooh, I'm almost at an hour and a half. That's probably as far as I'll take it tonight, in fact. But, yes, so, well, that was fun. I got to have some good old angry rants in there that I hope you found entertaining. Will we see a youth uprising? I hope so, Maya. I'm hoping that young people start to realise the power they have in their vote. Video dude, no, we had this talk about punching earlier. No, I think punching politicians is bad. I think punching people just because you disagree with them is bad. Punching Nazis, on the other hand, see, when someone's like Hitler loving, Sieg Heil saluting, fucking preaching genocide, you got to shut those motherfuckers down. And when people like that stupid spineless dickhead in America, Richard, what's his fucking name, who famously got punched, he's so stupid, he's so bad at tactical thinking, he actually admitted if he knows he's going to be punched if he goes out publicly, he can't go out publicly. They can't effectively mobilise and get their message out if people are going to punch them in the fucking face if they show up. Richard Spencer, thank you everyone. It's real. You can't say punching a Nazi is punching someone you disagree with. You're punching an enemy of humanity, for fuck's sake. As soon as someone starts praising Hitler and doing the Sieg Heil and throwing the salute and preaching genocide for other races, then they need to be fucking stopped, and they need to be fucking stopped fucking hard. There's no two ways about that. There's no grey area at all. And anybody who feels sorry for a Nazi because they got punched, well, it really didn't take much for you to sympathise with a Nazi, did it? Oh, you asked about the Andrew Bolt glitter thing. Well, to me, that's a classic example. I don't think the guys should have really done that, because it seemed too much like an assault in the street. But Bolt's escalation of it, like to actually start throwing punches because someone threw glitter at him, was really fucking stupid. And then the way they reacted to Bolt doing that was also fucking stupid. But that would be an example. I think Bolt is an arsehole. I think he's a lying, cowardly, racist piece of shit. He's too spineless to even stand behind his blatant racism. He's fucking garbage. But I don't think he should have been attacked. But I also think the way he escalated it was really fucking stupid. Yeah, Maya, like you say, some rampant old homophobe threw a pie at Alan Joyce. And yes, he didn't throw a punch in response, because that's fucking idiot behaviour. But yeah, obviously I think the guy shouldn't have thrown the pie at Alan Joyce either. But Alan Joyce didn't act like a complete fuckwit about it. Bolt's escalation of the situation was really fucking stupid. That's how people get killed, basically. But yeah, I don't think they should have attacked Bolt like that. But his escalation was stupid, and their response to his escalation was stupid. That would be a classic case. Like I said, Bolt's not a Nazi. He's just a fucking prick. He's just garbage. And yeah, for him, I would say, yep, people should let Bolt bury himself, and they should take him apart in public discourse. Absolutely. That's what should happen to him. Actually physically attacking him is a pretty stupid idea. But yeah, because he's not a Nazi. He's just an idiot, racist, coward fuckwit. And, you know, he's a liar, he's a hypocrite, and he is deeply, deeply racist, and he's a scumbag, and he's dangerous. But you can take apart his pathetic arguments without attacking him. Big bad ads. You don't think Jesus would have thrown a pie in his face? You read your Bible, buddy. When you ask what would Jesus do, tipping over tables and chasing people with whips is within the realms of possibility, okay? Jesus was not actually all that passive. He was, if you offended him enough, he was into pretty violent retribution. So, just throwing that one out there. That's the Catholic schoolboy setting you straight right there. Okay, so 90 minutes. I think I'm going to go there because I actually have to get up in the morning and go to work. I have to drive to Geelong. Senior, I'm glad you liked the shirt. Yeah, the shirt was pretty popular. I like this shirt from a site called T Fury. Talked about it so much at the start of the broadcast, I had to point out, not sponsored by T Fury. Thanks everyone for joining in. As usual, had a really good time. I'm really hopeful that we will get Aidsy in on a live stream, maybe as soon as this coming weekend, and he'll have no teeth and won't be able to talk properly, so that ought to be humorous. In the meantime, I'm going to keep trying to do a video every day if nothing arises. And so far I've been alternating one pre-recorded and one live stream. Basically, if something comes up in the next 24 hours that I feel absolutely compelled to do a video on it, I'll do a pre-recorded video rant. If nothing really grabs me, I might just end up doing a live stream, because then we can have a dialogue, and I really enjoy that. And we'll take that as it comes. But yes, so I'll definitely be doing live streams probably at least every second day this month. I just like doing this every now and then, challenging myself to try and do something every day, because that can sort of get me in the zone. So yes, If you're in the mood for a live stream, I'll certainly be doing one again very soon. Maybe not tomorrow night, but maybe. Who knows? It's a last little Rick and Morty burp for you before I go. Thanks once again, everyone. I'll see you later. Bye now.